If you can stay in an absolutely silent room for a full 50 days, you'll receive a $5 million reward. However, the condition is that only couples can participate. If one person chooses to quit halfway, the other person can still receive a $1 million reward as long as they stick it out until the end. Phones are not allowed, and the room contains only a simple double bed and a bathroom. The daily food provided is a box of tasteless milk. At night, the lights must be turned off according to the organizers' strict rules, and an alarm will ring promptly at 6 a.m. each morning. The woman worries about how they'll pass the time, while her boyfriend tells her to focus on how they'll spend the prize money instead. Hearing this, the girlfriend immediately feels enlightened. Thinking about the large prize, they both feel happy and lie back on the bed, relaxed and at ease. But only 2 days into the challenge, the man was already feeling bored with the place. In fact, he had already planned out how to spend the prize money a day earlier. Now, he was so bored that he was nearly going crazy. He felt as if time was passing slower and slower. Meanwhile, his girlfriend sat in place, meditating to pass the endless hours. The man stared at the blank white walls and floor. There wasn't a hint of color anywhere. He couldn't imagine how he would get through the remaining 48 days. He looked at the clock on the wall, feeling like he'd been watching it for ages, yet only a few minutes had actually passed. Finally, they made it to the evening, when the lights were turned off for them to rest. The woman's first act upon waking was to stand before the mirror, repeatedly giving herself words of encouragement and affirmation. This was why she could remain much calmer than her boyfriend. Unknowingly, the two had already made it through 27 days. That day, the man accidentally found a cockroach on the floor. This cockroach became a rare treasure, bringing a bit of amusement to their otherwise dull and monotonous days. Just as the man was about to feed the cockroach some milk, a notification sound echoed through the room, reminding them that the food was strictly for their own consumption. Violating this rule would forfeit their prize money. So he had no choice but to request that the organizers open the door to let the cockroach out, hoping to avoid it starving to death. However, there was no response at all. Still, the man was adamant about opening the door to release the cockroach. At this point, his girlfriend became furious, reminding him that pressing the button would mean they'd fail the challenge. As they argued, the woman accidentally stepped on the cockroach, killing it. In fact, the company that designed the challenge was fully aware of both of their personalities. The cockroach was merely a tool introduced to spark conflict between them. It turned out there was an additional rule in this challenge. They could obtain an item by agreeing to a deduction in their prize money. The first item would cost them $100,000, and the second would cost $1 million. The woman was very reluctant to use it, but she couldn't stop her boyfriend. With that, the man received a pen and happily began drawing on the wall. Seeing her boyfriend so happily absorbed in his drawing, she realized that their relationship was what truly mattered most. So, the woman joined in, posing as a model and asking her boyfriend to draw a portrait of her. To her surprise, the man just sketched a few quick lines and called it finished. Seeing that he had no interest in drawing her portrait, she walked away, feeling disappointed. The man continued refining the facial contours, but after finishing the piece, he didn't feel any sense of happiness. The woman picked up the clothes the man had discarded. After washing them, she sat down with him for a heartfelt conversation. After all, with only 20 days left until they could claim the prize, they knew they needed to set aside any lingering resentments and support each other. However, that day, they faced yet another emotional crisis. Having been in the room for so long, the company decided to let them connect with their respective friends. But the person they connected the man with turned out to be his ex-girlfriend. As soon as the man saw his ex-girlfriend, he brightened up and chatted with her happily, which left his current girlfriend feeling uneasy and hurt. When it was the woman's turn for a video chat, the person the company connected her with was her father. However, this father was a nightmare from her past. When she was a child, he had been an alcoholic who frequently abused her and her mother. Eventually, her mother could no longer bear it and chose to end her life. Afterward, the woman sold their house, but the money ran out, and she couldn't even afford to continue her education. The man could only continue comforting his girlfriend, trying to ease the pain of her past. Later, they discovered a handgun in the bathroom. They knew it was part of the company's test, but it still shocked them. The woman kicked the handgun under the bed. As time ticked by, there were now only 19 days left until the challenge would be over and they could claim success. However, as time dragged on, their mindsets began to shift. Even the woman, who had stayed calm for so long, started feeling a bit restless and uneasy. The man couldn't resist the urge to spend $1 million to purchase another item, and this time, his girlfriend agreed without hesitation. So, the man gave the command to the system, and before long, a naked woman entered the room through the doorway. The man was suddenly at a loss for words. Just as his girlfriend came out of the bathroom, he hurriedly began explaining, saying he had no idea that the item would be another woman. Though unhappy, the girlfriend understood that this was just another scheme by the company to prevent them from succeeding. The newcomer introduced herself as a dancer, saying she was drawn by an ad that promised her $5 million if she stayed here for just 10 days. Hearing this, they were furious. It was obviously unfair to them. After learning about their nearly month-long experience, the dancer was surprisingly intrigued and even a bit excited to try this kind of life. However, with only one bed in the room, figuring out how to sleep arrangements became a problem. Although the man offered to sleep on the floor, his girlfriend, worried he might catch a cold, agreed that the three of them could share the bed. Of course, to keep her boyfriend in check, she insisted on sleeping in the middle. The next day, seeing her boyfriend laughing and chatting with the dancer, she felt a deep sense of frustration and unease. So, she decided to press the button herself and purchase an entertainment item. This time, what appeared was a small box containing capsules designed to induce excitement and euphoria. After taking the capsules, the woman and the dancer were instantly energized and began dancing joyfully. The boyfriend also took a capsule, and before long, its effects kicked in, leading him into a hallucinatory state. He began to see visions of his younger brother, who had tragically drowned in childhood, a haunting memory but had stayed with him all his life. Even after he woke up, he couldn't stop calling out his brother's name. In fear, he wanted to leave immediately, but his girlfriend quickly embraced him, trying to calm him down. During their rest, the man confided in the dancer about his brother's tragic death, sharing the pain that had haunted him for so long. Unfortunately, the moment when the dancer grabbed his hand was seen by the girlfriend, who immediately believed the dancer was trying to seduce her boyfriend. She mocked the dancer, calling her nothing more than a woman who enjoyed flirting with other people's boyfriends. The dancer, however, retorted, believing that she and the man were simply not a good match. The next day, the girlfriend discovered that the dancer had left. However, the dancer left a few lines of writing on the wall, claiming that the man had done something inappropriate to her. Despite the man's protests that it wasn't true and that the company had stirred up conflict between them, the girlfriend couldn't shake the doubt in her mind, especially since the dancer resembled his ex-girlfriend in some ways. In her anger, the woman pushed the man, causing his head to strike the corner of the wall, and he fell to the ground. The girlfriend, panicked, quickly approached and apologized, realizing that she might have misunderstood her boyfriend. At that moment, the man, weakened from blood loss, started to lose his balance. He was fully aware of his injuries and insisted that he needed a doctor. The girlfriend brought him a bottle of milk, trying to comfort him and urging him to hold on, reminding him that the 50 days would be over soon. At this moment, the man finally understood the company's true intentions. It was a test of human nature. His girlfriend, now completely consumed by the allure of money, had lost sight of her own safety and well-being. In an attempt to stop the man from leaving, she shockingly pulled out a gun and threatened him. The man tried to reason with her, urging her not to lose her sanity over money and to make her own judgment, rather than letting the temptation control her actions. As she watched her boyfriend leave, she fell into a state of confusion, unsure of what to do next. The woman spent another 14 days alone in the room. If she could hold on for just 2 more days, she would receive the remaining prize money. But when she saw the words her boyfriend had left on the wall, she finally understood what truly mattered. With a deep breath, she pressed the button to end the challenge. The movie story ends here. Thank you for watching.